So let's cover how to add a texture. So I'm going to start this a couple of ways. So if you're already using Adobe Bridge, which hopefully you are by now, all I have to do is go choose the two images that I want to put together, the image and the texture. And these are labeled add texture 1A, add texture 1B. The quickest way to do this is hold down the Command or Control key and select each of the two images you want. Go up to Tools, go down to Photoshop, and just load files into Photoshop layers. That way Photoshop's just going to do all of the work for you. If you get this message, it's a bug in the system because you know nothing else is going on. So just click yes. And it's going to open up both images. Look over here at your layers panel and you'll see it's actually added them both together in the same file. So you'll notice, even though I did resize these to 2000 pixels on the longest dimension, the motorcycle shot is a little shorter, which is great that we can do some free transforming. Notice how when Photoshop loads the files together for you, it brings it in as an untitled document. If you are not using Bridge yet, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, or you selected both images and you just double clicked on them, knowing that Photoshop's going to open both images for you automatically if you double click from within Bridge. So here's the motorcycle one, and see that's the only thing on the layer. And then here is the texture 1B. If you're opening them individually, which again is longer, everything you can do to shorten your process is going to make you a more productive person. But all you have to do is just click and grab on the background layer, hold your mouse while you drag it up, hover over the tab up here that you want to place it in. Now don't let go now. If you do, it's just going to disappear. You've got to drag it down over top of the image and then let go. And then it will place. And remember, you can move these layers as long as you're on the move tool up here, just by clicking and moving. If this is the last thing you did, it should be automatically selected on this layer, right? But if, like, for some reason I was on this layer and I click, notice nothing's moving. Why is that? Well, it's going to tell me. You can't use the move tool because the layer's locked. Oh, I'm on the background layer and the layer's locked. Now here's a little thing that I know you already know from previous lectures. Notice my auto select is turned off because if I had that on and I clicked on the uppermost layer, which is this texture layer, see how the layers panel automatically switched and it auto selected that, which is a really nice feature. This auto select tends to drive me nuts when I have a ton of stuff I'm trying to move around and they're in and behind each other or they're interacting with blend modes. So I typically keep that off. And if I need it, I'll just hold down the Command or Control key and then click on something and it will automatically select. Let me show you. I'll click on the background. But I'm going to hold down my Command key because I'm on a Mac. If you're on Windows, you'd hold down the Control key. And then I'm going to click and see how it automatically chose the thing I was clicking on. So again, that's a nice little shortcut. Let's go back and take a peek. So looking at this, so what's wrong with this image? Right away we see that it's flat. I'll hit Command or Control 0 just to fill the screen. If I hit Command L just to quickly bring up my levels dialog box, it won't do anything. Why won't it do anything? Because I've turned my eyeball off. So I'm actually on an inactive layer. I need to go to a layer that's active where the eyeball's on. Then I'll hit Command or Control L. All right, so we know how to read an image. This looks visually flat. Remember, flat is an image that is missing black tones or white tones or both. And this is missing both. No pure blacks, no real dark tones, no real white tones, really. It looks like maybe it has 1 pixel all the way across, maybe somewhere up here, but it's not a balance of tones. But I know that with the adding a texture with blend modes can increase contrast. So before I fix the contrast of this, I'm just going to try to do my blend modes first and add the texture. Because I want this image to look a bit more gritty. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Command or Control T. Ooh, notice what happened. And remember, Command or Control T is the free transform, right? It activates the free transform. You always find this under Edit. It's very intuitive. What do you want to do? I want to edit this layer. So you go down to Edit, and then you find Free Transform, which means you get to transform it however you want. If you go just a regular transform, you get all these prescribed things that you can do. But Free Transform is the simplest. And it puts this bounding box all the way around the layer, which you already know. And I can grab it and pull it around. But see, that's kind of my issue. I can't see, well, the way I've put it right here, I can't see any of the 4 corners, which is where I like to drag my Free Transform box. If that ever happens to you, remember, just do the same thing. Hit Command or Control 0 to fit your image in the screen. And what it's going to do is it's going to fit the free transform box in the screen. So now I can click and drag it. And with these things, just overlap the image a little bit. It's okay if you go outside the bounding box. Now, what are we noticing? The perspective of this image, if I just keep doing it, it's trying to maintain its aspect ratio. So I'm losing that bottom border by going this way. See that? So what you have to do is hold down the shift key and it will let you alter the aspect ratio to make it super skinny, squished this way. I just want to stretch it to fit the image. And remember, I'm going to go just a little bit bigger than the image. See how I'm all the way around the image because I want to make sure I don't have any weird edges. I'll hit enter. There we go. Once you have the two layers in the same document, it's real simple. Just go up to your blend modes, which you're going to have a whole week on blend modes. And remember, each area does what the top one says. So everything in between these lines is going to darken. So it's going to take the topmost layer and it's going to darken in some way. Color burn, linear burn, darker color. This whole group's going to lighten, screen, color dodge. And I'm just trying to make this look a little bit more grungy. You know, it's going to go on maybe a motorcycle repair website. I'm liking the overlay, but the black's looking a little heavy-handed. Yeah, I'm finding those lines distracting, but I do enjoy the direction it's going. That's a little too hard. So you see what we're doing. And remember, overlay is another word for contrast. So it's making the blacks blacker and the whites whiter. And I think that's probably the group I'm going to go with. But I don't think I like what this is doing so far. So I'm going to vary it. I'm going to just pop out of that. I'm still on that texture layer. And I'm going to hit Command or Control I, which is the same as I want to alter the image. And what I want to do to the image. I want to invert it. I'd like to adjust the image. Command or Control I is the shortcut, but here's where it's located. So I just made it black to white. Now let's go do the same thing. Darken, no. How about lighten? Yeah, I sort of like the lighten. I like where that's going. Check overlay, soft light. I mean, I like how this is really pushed back and it looks like a real faded photograph. Like this has potential. So for me, it's going to be between this one and I think I like this one. I think I'm going to settle on this because it gives it a nice rich tone. It minimizes the texture, but it's still there. It looks still kind of grungy. And so I'm just going to choose soft light. And that's all you have to do to add a texture to this image and fix the flatness of it. Just save this out as File, Save As. You're going to get your Save dialog box that pops up. And when you do, you can leave it as Add Texture 1A because it's saving as a .psd. So all you have are JPEG files. So this .psd is going to be perfect because you can go and mass convert this later. So I would just leave it there. Go ahead and embed the color profile, sRGB, because we're not printing it. This is going to only be displayed on the web, so you definitely want to embed the web colors and just click Save. And you're all done. It's that simple. Hey, if you like this video, it helps. You can help me. Smack it, whack it, and crack-a-lack it. Take care. I like subscribers.
That's awesome! Whoa! Yes! Oh my god, I did! This is...
Hey, you stayed to the end. You know what that means? You're awesome. I'm talking about you. Now get out of here.